My name is Isabella Reed, and until recently I thought I knew what it meant to be in control of my life. At 35, I was the kind of woman people described as poised, put together, maybe even a little intimidating. My career was stable, my house was the quiet haven I'd built for myself, and I had long since stopped expecting the thrill of surprises. But then Lysander Hayes came in, 10 years younger than me, a bundle of charm. He wasn't supposed to turn my world upside down, but he did, and nothing prepared me for the night. He leaned in with that bold request that left me breathless. We started as casual. Drinks after work, late-night drives where the music was too loud, stolen kisses that left my pulse racing. I told myself I was only indulging, that he'd eventually grow bored, but Lysander had this way of seeing through my careful walls. He'd brush his thumb across my jaw when I tried to hide my smile, or tilt his head when I avoided answering something personal. He was persistent but never pushy, and I realized soon enough that I wanted him in ways I hadn't let myself want anyone for a long time. Weeks turned into months, and the connection between us became something neither of us could ignore. Our chemistry was electric, but there was also something tender in the way he memorized the way I liked my coffee, or how he'd drape his jacket over my shoulders when the night turned cold. Still, I kept my guard. I was older, more cautious, certain that age would eventually matter, that he'd ask for freedom I couldn't give. But the more I tried to resist, the deeper I sank. It was on a Thursday night, after we'd gone out for dinner and wandered the quiet streets under the soft glow of street lamps, that Lysander asked if he could stay over. My apartment was only a few blocks away, and when we walked inside, I lit a candle on the counter, the flame flickering shadows across the walls. He tossed his jacket over a chair and sank onto the couch, watching me as if he was storing every movement away for later. I slipped off my heels, relieved, and joined him. We sat close, our thighs brushing, and the air thickened with unspoken tension. He kissed me softly at first, then deeper, pulling me against him with a hunger that made my body ache. His hand slid along the small of my back, anchoring me, and I melted, forgetting every reason I had ever told myself this was a bad idea. I thought it would end with us tangled on the couch, but instead, he pulled away slightly, his eyes burning into mine. "Isabella," he murmured, his breath uneven, "there's something I want from you. Something I've been thinking about for weeks." I swallowed hard, my chest tightening with both anticipation and uncertainty. "What is it?" His lips curled into that half-smile that always undid me. "I want you to let me see the real you. No defenses, no walls, nothing held back. I don't want just your kisses, Isabella. I want all of you. Your fears, your scars, your secrets. I want what you're afraid to give." For a moment, the room seemed to tilt. It wasn't the request I expected. I thought he'd ask for something physical, something fleeting, but instead his words sank deeper, disarming me. No one had ever demanded that kind of intimacy from me. Not my ex-husband, not the men who came after. They wanted pieces, fragments, but Lysander wanted it all. And in the rawness of his eyes, I realized he meant it. I tried to laugh it off. "That's a dangerous request." "Maybe," he whispered, his fingers tracing my wrist, sending heat spiraling through me. "But you're worth the risk. And I think you've been waiting for someone to ask." My pulse hammered as I looked at him, at the youth and determination shining in his face, at the way he wasn't intimidated by my silence. Something inside me unraveled. I leaned forward, pressing my forehead to his, and whispered, "You don't know what you're asking for." "Then show me," he said simply. His mouth claimed mine again, and this time the kiss was desperate, searching, as if he needed to prove he could handle whatever I gave. My hands fisted in his shirt, tugging him closer, and when his body pressed against mine, I felt the solid reality of how badly he wanted me. The heat spiraled into something uncontrollable. We stumbled toward the bedroom, laughing breathlessly when we nearly tripped over the rug, but neither of us stopped. The door clicked shut behind us, and suddenly the world outside didn't exist. His hands were everywhere, firm but reverent, sliding along my arms, my waist, pulling me against him. I responded with equal hunger, exploring the planes of his back, the strength coiled beneath his shirt. There was fire in the way he kissed me, but also tenderness, as though he was savoring every second. When he laid me back against the bed, his gaze held mine, and for a heartbeat he didn't move, just looked at me as though I was something fragile and extraordinary. That intensity stole my breath more than his touch ever could. "Don't look at me like that," I whispered, nervous under the weight of his stare. "Like what?" "Like I'm more than I am." His thumb brushed my cheek, and his voice was steady. "You're exactly what I've been searching for. And I'm not going to let you hide from me anymore." His words struck deep, and when he kissed me again, I let go of the fear that had held me back for years. Our bodies moved together with urgency, but beneath the heat was something softer, a thread of intimacy that made every touch feel like discovery. The way his lips traced the curve of my shoulder, the way he whispered my name like a vow, the way he slowed when I tensed, patient and steady until I opened up again. It was all new, and it terrified me how much I needed it. Hours blurred, the candle burning low in the other room, the night outside quiet except for the rain that began tapping at the windows. Lysander held me close after, his chest rising and falling beneath my cheek, his fingers lazily tracing patterns along my arm. I thought he would fall asleep, but instead he spoke into the silence. "You don't have to be strong with me all the time. You can break, you can be messy, you can want. I'll still be here." Tears stung my eyes, unexpected and unwelcome, but I didn't turn away. Instead I curled closer, letting his warmth seep into me, wondering how I'd ever convinced myself I didn't need this. From that night on, things changed between us. His request had cracked something open in me, and I couldn't shove it back behind my walls. He wanted all of me, and slowly I started giving it. I told him things I'd never said aloud, about the divorce that left me hollow, about the nights I doubted my worth, about the dreams I buried because they seemed foolish at my age. He listened without judgment, sometimes pulling me into his arms, sometimes just holding my hand until the words spilled out. But it wasn't all heavy confessions. There were nights of laughter that left us breathless, afternoons tangled in sheets when sunlight poured through the windows, mornings where he cooked breakfast shirtless and smug, making me roll my eyes even as I admired him. He had a way of keeping everything vibrant, of pulling me into the present, of reminding me that age was just a number when it came to love and desire. Yet with that closeness came fear too. I worried what people would say, what it would mean for us long-term, whether the difference in years would eventually matter. One night, as we walked by the lake, the city lights shimmering on the water, I voiced my doubts. "Lysander, what if one day you wake up and realize you want something else? Someone younger, someone who hasn't already lived so much?" He stopped, turning to face me, his expression fierce. "Isabella, I don't want someone younger. I want you. Do you think I'd fight this hard if it was just about attraction? You make me feel alive, and I'm not going anywhere." His conviction shook me, and when he kissed me under the dark sky, I believed him. The personal request he'd made that night, asking for all of me, wasn't something that ended with words or one night in bed. It was ongoing, a promise he kept holding me to, gently but persistently. And though it scared me, it also healed me. Because with Lysander, I wasn't just desired. I was seen. And in the end, that was what I had never expected. That a younger man could teach me how to live again, how to risk again, how to love without holding back. I had thought his request was too much, too dangerous. But now, lying tangled with him on a Sunday morning, sunlight painting us gold, I realized it was the only thing I'd ever truly wanted someone to ask. Lysander didn't just want my body. He wanted my heart, my soul, my everything. And against all odds, I was finally ready to give it.